All right, guys, so in today's video, we have another live lesson, this time with George, working on improving his driver and really eliminating the big miss. Now, we were gonna cut the first half of this video. If you're interested in more of just the swing mechanics, maybe you jump to kind of the middle part of the video, but there's really good stuff in the beginning that I think can help you, so we decided to leave that in. So first 10 minutes or so, sort of more information. Second half will be more swing mechanics if you're interested in that. Hopefully this helps you, hopefully you enjoy. Because a lot of us, like driver, when it's off, is the thing that costs us shots. So you go play, I always used to feel like, man, if I just hit my driver good, I'm golden. But like, that's everybody, right? Like if we can get our driver in play, typically you play better. So what you wanna do is identify like the big miss. So if you're like, hey dude, 90% of my misses are high right, okay, then let's identify that. What's causing that? How do we get rid of that? Which means that you need to live with a little bit of the opposite if it pops up. So it's like, hey, if right now, let's say you would miss, let's say you play, there's 14 fairways, and you miss, out of the 14 shots, 9 go to the right, let's just say. Our goal would be like tomorrow, next day after, go from 9 to 7 to 5, to 4 to 3, and just less than that. So when we're looking at the video, we're looking at like, okay, what would cause that high right shot? Well, we know, because George was here a moment ago when we were doing our previous lesson, club face is king. When a ball's going high right, club face is the first thing to look at, right? So if the ball's going to the right, it would serve to reason that the club face at impact is pointed to the right. If the ball goes to the left, it would serve to reason the club face at impact was pointed to the left. Now that doesn't tell the whole story, right? Another big thing is contact point. So where you hit the ball on the center of the club face or on the club face at all. And if we hit off center, that can also make things go offline a little bit, which we'll talk about in a second. So like club face, contact point with your big misses are two of the pieces you want to start with. Now we're looking at the face on video here, George's driver swing. A lot of good pieces with your setup. We're going to see from the down the line, you do aim a bit to the right. Now, is that responsible for all of your misses? Probably not. But if we look at a picture of George from down the line and we look at the club on the ground and his feet, and we said, hey, the clock is kind of our goal. So to scale that, the target from here is probably 10 to 15 yards left of that blue thing out there. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So kind of where that stick is going. Now your feet are pointed over at that flag, which is this one right here.
Yep.
And so your feet are probably 20, 30 yards right. Now, can you aim 20, 30 yards right and play great golf? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you aim 20 yards right, does it increase the odds of missing to the right? Yes, it does, yeah. Right? And so, are we going to change that or not? We'll see, but that's something I would look at, right? You don't have to aim parallel, but if you're missing right, and you would check that you're not aimed right too far. Okay. The second thing is the ball, to me, looks like it's set up a little bit towards the toe. Not a lot, but just a little bit towards the toe part of the club. Now, if you do hit the ball off the toe at impact, that can be a reason it goes high right as well. So like, I've been studying the golf swing for like 20 years, and we're talking about aim and where the ball is in the middle of the club, right? Meaning, start simple, okay? Like when we're diagnosing a swing, you don't start with like external rotation of the shoulder, right? Like simple stuff first, the basics. So aim square, and ball in the middle. Those are gonna be the first two pieces. Now, what we would do then, and when you're starting with basics, is like test those. See what percentage of the misses come from those things. What if I aim square and I put the ball in the middle? It's a test. It might change nothing. It might change everything. Why would you change anything else if that could fix everything? You wouldn't, right? So you would test that part first. So I'm gonna be a man of my word before we talk about anything else. And let's do your aim and club face first. And let's see, right? You run a test here. So come on back here with me. So this club has us aimed at those two carts right of the clock, agreed?
Agreed.
So what I'm gonna do is put a stick in the ground at your start line, and I'm gonna put a club on the ground for the aim. And this is something when you're setting up, guys, you can do this pretty easily. I'm gonna take an alignment rod, and I'm gonna put this basically right in line with the start line. So I'm kind of gonna go, this is kind of right in line with those carts. So that's just to the right of it, right? So when you're hitting, come on over here with me, and when you're looking down a fairway, we want to eliminate right. You'd put an object just to the right of the center and make sure the ball starts left of that. So imagine that's like a wall, right? And we're like, hey, we can't start it over there. So So we want to start it where that club is on the ground. Now I'm going to line up a club parallel left of that for your feet. And I'm going to line this up so you can see, let me borrow your driver, and so you can see where the that we're aimed square. So is that fairly in line with that? And tell me if it's not. Is that pretty close?
Pretty parallel.
Pretty close. So now you saw it was good, right? Let's have you hop in. So it's easier, obviously, like when you're testing your aim, to see someone else go in, like where you're standing, so you can see, oh, okay, that was square, because as soon as you go in, when you change your aim, it's gonna feel off, right? So you wanna have your feet, you can stand however far away from the ball as you want, but this is just kind of a guide. So these feet should be the same, exactly. So the left toes and the right toes should be the same distance. Now, when George looks at the ball, eventually he's probably gonna look up and be like, I feel left. Is that accurate?
Yeah, sure do.
But he just saw me stand there.
Yeah.
So he knows intellectually he's not left because he just saw me do it, right? So you just have to be comfortable feeling a little bit different there compared to normal. Now the second thing we're going to look at is where the ball is on the club here, right? So that ball, even when George is setting up there just messing around, is on the toe. Now maybe he goes a little bit this way once he's set, but you want to see what the middle is. Now this club has a logo right on the top, which is pretty much the middle of the face. So that ball right there is actually in the middle of the club. What does that look like to you?
Yeah, it looks really towards the heel.
Really towards the heel.
Yeah.
Now, let me hold that for a second, right there. And you stand kind of right back there so you can take a different vantage point, or over here, wherever, so you can see that that's pretty much right in the middle.
That's middle, yeah.
Come on back in here.
Yep.
So your brain, you get accustomed to what you're used to. And so just getting a different perspective, like lay a club down on the ground where you want the ball to start, which is that front one, lay one on your feet and lay a start line stick, and then you can test yourself and see. So you should feel left, yeah?
Yep.
Now the only caveat we're gonna hit here is when you're looking up and this start line stick is just to the right of the target, I want you to look here, which is just left of it, and feel like you're gonna launch it here. So when you're looking up, you're gonna feel like the ball is gonna launch here. So we're aimed square, we're looking at the correct starting point. Now, could you hit a bad shot from here? Most definitely, but we eliminated variables. Okay, I know now it's not my aim, I know it's not the ball, I know I'm looking in the right spot, right? Eliminating variables. So let's do one or two little practice swings where you get set up like that. Each time before you hit, you look left of that stick, and you're gonna just make a couple swings feeling like the ball launches there. And anytime you have a new sensation or feeling, do one or two swings without a ball just to kind of give yourself a sense of what it feels like, and then you start to add the ball back in. You want to add the ball in kind of as soon as possible, but you do one or two swings just to give yourself a sensation, right? We're not in a race to fix this. So we have the feet now square. He's looking left of that stick. The ball would be in the middle of the face, and then we're just kind of swinging. Letting yourself do whatever it's going to do to launch it left of the stick. Now, again, we're testing, right? Let's do this and see what the ball does, and maybe it fixes 50% of the right misses. Maybe if you still hit 9 out of 14 high right, but it only went 10 yards right instead of 30. That would be an improvement, right? Without having to fix anything else you're doing yet. So let's see. We have the aim square. This is an easy practice station you guys can set up at home. And then right before you go, look left of that stick, kind of like you're launching at that clock out there. Ball's in the middle. That looks great. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, excellent. So that ball still went high right. So we're 0 for 1 without changing anything. Let's do that again. And it's not your job nor your expectation for this to automatically change anything. All you're doing is saying, okay, I'm eliminating variables. Because now I know if all this stuff is good and it's still going high right, okay, now I have less things that I got to kind of cross off my list.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're not judging you based on how you're doing here. We're just observing. We have our stance line square. The ball's going to be in the middle, and then we're looking left of that stick. Okay, same shot. So now we eliminated the setup pieces. We know that's off the board. Ball's still going high right. And so now we're like, okay, what else would lead that ball to go to the right? And if you've watched any of our videos before, if you haven't, shame on you. If you have, you know what's the first thing that controls direction? We started the video by saying club face and contact point. So now you're aimed square. I'm looking at all this looks cool, but the ball's still going to the right too far. So would you assume your club face is too open?
Open.
Okay,
Yeah, way too open.
Yeah. So we need to do something to make that more closed, right, or less open. So then you look at, okay, why is that club face open? You did a great job with those setup pieces there. What's happening that's leading to that club face being too far open? And then we start always with grip. Your grip looks fine there. Is that how you normally grip it?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the main things that we see with your pattern is the head. So if we look at the top here, like when you look at a good driver, maybe we'll put up like Rory McIlroy, and you draw a circle around the head, we see the same things, right? They're tilted away at setup, which you are. You're tilted away at setup. They stay pretty much in it on the way back. Maybe there's a slight movement away from the target. But during the downswing, the one thing those really good drivers do not do is they don't have their head work towards the target. And certainly not too much. In fact, a lot of them, if there's an initial little movement, they'll actually see their head working away. Justin Thomas would be a good example of this. You would see the head working away from the target. Now, when your upper body works away from the target, essentially what that does is that allows your brain time to have your arms go through to close the club face, kind of like opening and closing a door. You imagine the more forward your head gets, the more your arms and hands are behind you, you don't have time to close the face, right? But the more behind it I am, same thing with like a baseball, the more time I have to be able to square that up. So when we look at your top of swing and we look at your head compared to, let's say, the tent in the back, and we're looking at the backswing, we see an up and away motion. That's great. I wouldn't change it at all. But now as you start to go forward, you see the head starting to drift towards the target, towards the target, towards the target. And then it kind of levels out at about hip high, and it stays there on the way through. One of the pieces that I would do to help you square that up is keep your head, you have a little motion off of it, less forward and not continuing to work forward. Effectively keeping that head back more where you are at the top of the backswing, and then letting your arms and hands pass by you on the way through. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. So time to close the door.
Stay behind the ball, kind of?
Yeah, exactly. Keep your head more back. Yeah. So let's take your setup here to a ball for a second. And like when you would practice keeping your head back, someone like me helping you would be ideal, or if you had an object sort of up over here by the shoulder. And so how you can practice this, I'm just going to grab a club here. Because like anything else, there's like, certain amounts and timing to it. Exactly. Effectively, you're going to feel like your head stays back. Right. Now, your arms and club should still go through. Your weight and body should still move forward, but just the head should stay back. Right. So just as a little example, let's go about half speed. I'm going to put a club up over your shoulder here, and your objective is to keep your head back behind this. Just do a little half swing, just kind of 50% just to feel it. Keep the arm swinging? Yeah, exactly. Good. You feel how your head's more back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bingo.
Big time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as you do that, let's do that again. The whole point of allowing the head to stay back is to allow the arms to go through. So let's go just kind of halfway back. Start coming down. So from this point on here, this club, as his head stays back, this club head, and what you need to feel is let the club head and arms and hands go. You feel the difference there?
Yeah, big time.
So when you come through, if the ball goes high right, what would make a ball go high right, just athletically? It'd be like
Keeping
this.
it open.
Exactly. No release, kind of hands ahead, club face to the right, very little arm rotation. What would make the ball go more to the left is allow the club head to pass. Now this is an exaggeration, but more arm rotation and the club head's passed. Look at the difference in where the club face is at. Here to here. You with me?
100%.
So because your head goes too forward, you need to feel like your head stays back, and you just let the arms go, let the club head pass, let the weight of the club go. Bingo. You feel a difference there? So if you're someone who hits the ball high right, that means the club face is what? Pointed where? High right. We want to feel like it's pointed the opposite of high right. What's the opposite of high right? The opposite of high is low left. Bingo. And what would make the club face point low left is you feel like your arms and hands are releasing and rotating. And rotating. It's this little arm supination, this little arm rotation. You with me on that? So remember when you were listening before, and I was like, hey, when the club face gets too open, you always go the same order. Grip, wrist, arm rotation. Grip, wrist, arm rotation. This would be like cue to me in previous lesson, like black and white saying that. I want you to check these in order. Grip first, wrist conditions second. Wrist conditions meaning like this way, bowed or cupped. And then arm rotation third. Maybe we can put that on the screen. grip, wrist, arm rotation. Grip, wrist, arm rotation. Your grip is good. Your wrist angles are good. This would be more of the arm rotation piece. We're allowing the door to close more. You hit it high right, the door stays open. We're allowing the door to close more by letting the arms and hands go and having the head stay back. So this would be someone who you would see like on tour with more of a freer release pattern, head stays back, arms and hands go, right? So let's do a couple little practice ones together, learning how to feel that, and then we'll slowly kind of build it up. So you just go halfway back like this. So when you're starting this, right, you're doing little half swings. I'm gonna hold my hand by his head just to get a sense of this. So your job when you come down is to feel like you let the arms rotate, the head stays back, and let the club head go and pass your hands. Yeah, bingo, you feel that? So the toe is actually getting quite a bit in front of the heel on the way through. Do that again. Bingo, exactly. And don't be shy even about let this whole unit turn more. So see how your glove logo is kind of pointed more low left? When that glove logo points, what does that also look like?
Club face.
Club face. So if your glove logo is up, the club face is up. And up and open misses to the right, here. Now keep in mind, like anything else we talk about, George is here normally. We have to feel a gazillion times exaggerated to just change it like a little bit. So when George comes through and feels like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of arm rotation, we're gonna say, yep, that's good. And you're only gonna get like a little part of that when you actually hit, right? So this has to feel, you keep your head stay back. This has to feel when you come through, like you're letting that club head release. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're feeling like the glove logo, you can feel the glove logo or your watch pointed a little more down and to the left. This whole unit and arm has rotated more. So the club face is gonna look like, oh my gosh, closed. It's not gonna be that much. Also, when you hit the ball, it's not gonna rotate that much. This is exaggerated. So we would do a couple little half swings, slowly go a little bit longer. Yeah, that a boy, good. Good, a little more speed. Don't worry about that, T, you do another one. That was really good. Letting the club head and arms pass your body, the head staying back. Good. Now, as you do this, what I want you to make sure, and it's hard, right? Because we're saying, and some of you may do this when you do this, hey, when I feel like my head stays back, my weight stays back. What we have to learn, have to be able to do is, my weight and hips still go forward, but my head stays back. So we're still getting the weight on the left. So go ahead and do a finish position just from here through. Let your foot go all the way. So the head staying back is gonna come more from here. You feel that difference? Versus your whole body
Being back.
So we're still here like this. It's, you probably feel like, obviously the head's back, the chest is up towards the sky. And so really that's coming on the way through from extension, which is chest up, that a boy, and a little bit of side bend with the right shoulder. That a boy, good. So you just wanna make sure when you're doing this and you're practicing this, the head goes back, but the weight is still all the way through, which is a little bit counterintuitive. Because it's like, well, wait a minute, when I get my weight forward, my head goes with it. So that's the part that we gotta fight,
Okay.
right? Let's show me one more little example. So the arms and hands are going and rotating, the head staying back. Yeah, bingo, perfect.
More.
Yeah, so the body's still forward, just the head's back. Atta baby. Good, atta boy.
Whoa, off balance on that one.
So the head stays back, arms and hands rotate. Yes, sir, good. So when you get done, like the sensation, you're probably gonna feel a little bit like, A, when you're at impact, the head feels a little bit more back than normal. And B, in the follow through, my whole body feels back. You might feel more like Jack Nicklaus or like, kind of like reverse C feeling sensations. But the arms and hands and speed went, right? Put your hands in there one more time. So even though your head's staying back, right? Those arms and hands are going. Those arms and hands are going past your body. You're used to this way and hold on to it, high right. We want more of this. And now I'm holding his head back. It's not to keep the head down, it's just to keep it back, right? Yeah, exactly. Feel that? So it's like the arms and hands are slinging past the body. These are feels, you can relax. These are feels you want to have if you hit high right. If you hit low left, do you need to feel more of that? Everybody together? No, of course not, right? You need to feel more of that if you hit high right. Why? High right comes from face being too open, too much loft. We're going low left. You always have to feel the opposite of your problem. So if you came in and you were hitting low left, low left, low left, low left, low left, low left, you probably need to feel more of the opposite of this. But you go high right, right? So it's aim pieces. Let's hit one with that. See if we can get a good one with that. So your task here is to feel like the head stays back, let the arms and hands rotate past you. Who cares where it goes? Just do those feels and exaggerate. So the head feels like it stays back. The arms and hands are gonna feel like they pass the body. Atta baby. Now, how do you know you've done something correct?
It went completely the opposite way.
Completely the opposite way. So the ball flight was completely different. So what we're trying to fix the ball that goes, for him, high right, let's say 150 feet in the air and 30 yards to the right. That ball went 30 feet in the air and 80 yards to the left. Now that's a sign of success. Not that we want that to be what you do forever, but what do you know you did on that swing?
What I wasn't doing before, the complete opposite.
Exactly. You did the club face piece, right? So when you're making a change, you would be much better off overdoing something, having your brain see the opposite thing. Why? Because now you know you did it, and you can always just turn the volume down. Hey, right there, I feel like I did that 8 out of 10. Cool, let's do 4 out of 10 until you find middle. Because you know we have to do it. It's just a matter of how much. But I would say to you, and anyone else who's listening, I would overdo that for a little bit of period of time, right? You're not playing Augusta in April, correct?
No, unfortunately.
So like, me neither. So I would say for the next like week or even the warm-ups, overdo the opposite of the issue. If you're someone who hits a big hook, warm up hitting some over fades and then find middle. If you're someone who hits a high weak fade, you got to learn how to hit low left and then find middle. Not forever, but just in the beginning. Let's do one more with the same thing. I would say on this one, try and do it just as much.
Okay.
Try and do it just as much. Head stays back, arms feel like they rotate and pass the body on the way through. Okay, so now that was smashed. That was beautiful. That was probably a 20 yards, maybe 20 yards left. It's probably left center of the fairway, left edge of the fairway. Lower ball flight and very solid, right?
Yep.
Now let's do that again. 1 is lucky, 2 is good, is how we say.
You're asking too much now.
You can repeat it. But you're just, you're learning how much do I need to do the thing. I know what I'm trying to do to fix the high right. I know what I'm trying to do to fix it. And now I'm trying to learn how much I'm doing it, and it's based on the ball flight. Right? It's based on the ball flight. So George has to work through the feelings of how to do this. And again, you don't need to be perfect. You want to start to make moves. You see his head staying back. He's trying to feel the arms rotating, the club head passing his hands. And he's going to have to work through some of the subtle feels as you go, but focus on the macro ones. Beautiful job. Let's do that again. Success would be doing it correct, but then like seeing a different ball flight, fixing the big miss. Head stays back, arms and hands go past with a little arm rotation. So high right, this would be like a little low and pulley would be a good miss. Yeah, beautiful.
Wow.
So that's another one that's like a lot lower compared to normal.
Yeah.
Fairly straight ball flight, right? Didn't curve too much. And more importantly now, like when he goes to play, when you go to play, I shouldn't say this because we're going to do some like on-course stuff, so I don't want to jinx myself, but what you should be able to do, what I was going to say is I wouldn't have the same miss for 18 holes in a row.
Yeah, no.
Because I would know how to fix it. And so part of the big thing, obviously, like you want to be able to, and you want to be able to, and you want to be able to. I don't know, I have that Oprah thing going on. Like you want to be able to fix the thing so you don't have to think about it anymore. But that's not reality, right? Reality is you're going to wake up some days, you slept great, you ate good, and you still feel like shit in the morning. You're going to wake up some days and just hit it bad. So you have to know how to fix it, like quick. So now when George goes and plays, it's not like, why am I hitting it to the right? I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, I'm going to check my aim and setup, and I'm going to look at my arms passing the body piece. Boom, I'm going to cross those off. Now, if that doesn't fix the issue, then you have a conversation about what else is, but that should fix the issue, right? Have a solution to the problem. So good stuff. That was beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do like these live lesson style videos, we can do them. We like doing them. If you guys want to watch them, comment down below, like the video. Let me know what you like, or if you want to see more of this or different style content. If you do want more personalized coaching like we did in this lesson, so I could identify things for you in your swing, what you need to work on, how you need to work on them so you can get faster results, head to cogornogolf.com. That's where we're at every single day. Appreciate you guys watching.